8 p.m. Friday night, FS1. Number 10, Utah travels to number 19, Oregon State. Oregon State, of course, licking their wounds a little bit after a 3-point loss to Washington State. Another game kind of in the reverse that looks a lot closer than it actually was. And for Utah, we are still on Cam Rising watch. This is week 5, Rising watch, monitors on, get the theme music going, get the graphics going. And look, the interesting thing here is Cam Rising and Kyle Whittingham, if it was up to them, he would be playing this week. But it's the surgeon from LA, I believe, that they are waiting on for final approval. Obviously, you want to go with the doctor's opinion. Obviously, you want to wait for the medical advice and not just put it in the hands of the player and the coach. But just an interesting sidebar here. So anyone that's telling you they know one way or the other, probably before about 6 p.m. Friday night local time, I don't think you can trust them, because this is between the surgeon and Cam Rising and whether or not he feels like he's cleared to play. Regardless, we know that Utah defense is going to show up, right? We know that the Utah defense has been elite. The D-line has been nasty. And we also know that throughout his career, DJU versus a pass rush has been a pretty one-sided battle throughout his career. So it's not necessarily been DJU's strong suit to take on a ferocious pass rush. So the Beavers just have to plain and simply block better than they did against Washington State. Washington State was living in the backfield. DJU had very little time to make decisions. For some reason, I can't really explain this pick. It feels like the college football universe just needs to balance out a little bit. It feels like Utah's been kind of getting away. Now, this pick, I will throw it out the window if Cam Rising is playing. But if Cam Rising is not playing, I feel like Utah's due for a stub the toe moment. I just feel like I can't really explain it. I don't really have the stats or the analysis to back that up, but I feel like if Cam Rising's not playing, Utah's just kind of due for a stub the toe moment, a day where the defense maybe just slips up a little bit, or Johnson has a couple bad turnovers that the other team finally capitalizes on. I'm going to take Oregon State minus the 3.5 with the asterisk that I can throw it out if Cam Rising actually shows up and plays. If I'm allowed to do that, sir.
Thinking about it. Yeah, I'll allow it. That's fine.
Vegas would need to take my money either way.
Right, exactly. It's a massive asterisk. So far, Utah has the 6th ranked defense in opponents' points per games. This is elite defense, like you were talking about. They just do a really good job. And they haven't played nobody. They played a Florida team that just beat up some people and played nice and physical. You know, they beat a Baylor team that, for all intents and purposes, is dead in the water. But, you know, that's still a Power 5 program. And they beat a UCLA team where Dante Moore was starting to kind of come out of his zone and figure out what he wants to be as a quarterback. And then all of a sudden, he has one touchdown drive late because they kind of fell asleep at the wheel. And so, you know, I think this is a really elite defense, but the offense, 100th out of 133 in scoring offense. That's not good. It's not going to get it done. Utah has to commit to running the football. They have to run the football. They have to do a better job at being physical and not trying to get too cute. They don't have an elite passer right now if it's not Cam Rising. Nate Johnson's your best chance. He's plenty athletic. You got to find ways to get him and Quentin Jackson and a lot of these other dudes in space to give them the best opportunity to win. I think they'll do it. I think they're going to be just fine. I think they'll play some ball control, low-scoring game. I'm going to give me the Utes plus 3.5. I'm going to take them to win outright. I think you're right about this whole thing balancing out for the Utes, but I don't think it happens this week. I think this will happen against a better team later in the schedule.
I think that's fair. I don't know if it's this week. I do think it'll even out a little bit. We all know my Utah hatred, whatever we want to call it, where I just will refuse to pick them to go through a season undefeated. But I don't know if it's this week. It feels like Oregon State.
I was going to say, in classic, Kyle Whittingham fashion, this is the kind of game that he would lose traditionally to be
it's
that
a Friday night. It's in Corvallis.
Yeah, right? It's got some of the markers.
It's got some red flags for me. So I'm going to lean into it. I'm going to take Oregon State. Garrett takes Utah plus 3.5.
Gracious him. How about